Hello everyone, this is Ori Bloop. Welcome back to another Game Builder Garage tutorial. Today we are finally going to be doing RPG episode number 2. This has been actually like probably one of my most requested videos. Actually, people were getting mad that I was taking so long for this series, for the next episode. I was basically just trying to plan out more episodes, so just so I have like a very chronological order that I'm going to. But now I have it set, and now I'm here, ready to record. So if you guys didn't watch the last video, basically all we did was we set up our custom character. We haven't named him yet, but we have our custom character here, and he has regular walk, and he can walk around, and he also has sprint if we press and hold down A, and then he also has jump, so we can go ahead and jump, and that's basically all we did in our last tutorial. But today we will be making a enemy. The enemy won't have chase or anything yet because we'll do that in the next episode. But basically all it is right now is we're going to be making the custom enemy, and we're going to be making a functioning health bar for our character. So let's go ahead and just get right into this. So if we go to edit, we could see that we have our character here, and this is our camera, and this is our sprint mechanism. But we're going to go ahead and make a brand new object, which will be our enemy. So let's go to objects and go to cylinder right here. And for the cylinder, I have the exact dimensions if you guys want to copy that. We're going to turn off destructive and destructible for right now. But for the dimensions for the alien, 0.80, y equals 0.70, and this stays at 0.82. So basically it's just a very small change. And that's this is right here is the body of our alien, or of the creature, whatever it is. And we can actually go ahead and attach the texture to it. So I don't know if you saw, I was in the game. I have the textures right over here. So what I did for these textures is I copied the face for this and just took the eyes, and I made a custom mouth. I can go into it actually. I made a custom mouth, and I put little nostrils right here. I thought it looked kind of cute. But you guys can make your own design, of course. This is what I went with though. And make sure for the face it's the same as the character, as our person. Z minus for the texture face, and then for the rest of the body, it is basically everything besides Z minus, because that's being filled with our face. So we can actually just go ahead and connect those just like that. So if we connect them, and I'll show you guys, if we go in the game right now, the only sucky thing about, having textures on the character like this is you can still see the white part, and there's not really much you can do about it besides changing the block color under it, under the actual texture. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna change that to like a green. So if we go to color, we have green and lime green. Let me see what lime green looks like. Okay, so it kind of blends in a lot better. So I think we're gonna just go with lime green. So that's basically our enemy right there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to attach a touch sensor, because what's going to happen is if our character runs in to the enemy, we want to take damage. So we're going to go to objects, sensors, and grab our touch sensor. And then we're going to go ahead and put it right over our alien. So if we go into the settings of the touch sensor, we want to change it to cylinder because our enemy is a cylinder. And for check what, since our character is a cylinder as well, so we're going to mark off those and just have cylinder. We're not going to be checking for a person because in this case, our person is invisible and not solid. So we just need to do that. And make sure that it's center and center with it for the touch sensor. And what we need to do is if we go ahead and I think we can actually just go ahead and connect that to our person like that. But if we go ahead and look right now, the touch sensor is like directly on the box, and it won't actually register us touching the touch sensor because we're touching the actual object. So all we need to do basically is make this just a little bit tiny bigger so we can actually go up to it and touch the touch sensor. So there we go. So now we can touch the touch sensor, and just to verify if we're touching it, if we go to output, play sound, and sound effects, it doesn't really matter what sound effect it is. We can connect just to kind of see if it works. So we can go up to it now, and it should play that sound. Yeah, exactly. So once it played that sound, we know that our touch sensor is working. So we can now just remove this, and we're going to actually work on our health bar now. Because it directly deals with this touch sensor. So what we need to do is basically we want to have multiple lives for our character, and that's like the main fundamental of it, that we just don't want to die instantly. So what we need to do is we need to apply some sort of counter. So for the counter, we're going to go ahead and take that out, and we want to have 3 lives. So if we go ahead and change this to range, we can go ahead and put it to 4, because it will start back at 0 if we reach 4. So we'll never reach it, so it will technically be 3. And I think that's all we have to do for there. And make sure that this touch sensor is connected to the count up. So basically when we do touch it, it will count up for the counter, and we can actually verify if it's counting up properly by going to objects, special objects, and we get a number object. So we'll just test if it's counting up and if we have 3 lives. So if we go in the game real quick, our numbers right there. So if we touch it once, oh, see, I forgot to change something. So we need to change this on change from 0. So basically what that means is we don't want to be touching it for a long period of time and it will continuously count. We want it just to be like a one-time thing, if that makes sense. So if we go in the game again, if we go ahead and touch this once, our number counter will do it once. If we touch it twice, that counted as 2 because I think we rolled on it. But let's go ahead and, is it looping? I'm not sure if it's looping. Let me go ahead and check inside this. Oh, I did range. So you don't want to do range. I'm super sorry about that. But we want to go into loop. So basically it will go back to 0. And then once it goes into 0, then it will go into retry game. So, but right now, let's go ahead and see if it works now. So 1, 2, 3, and then 0. So now that's how it should function, is we have basically 3 lives. So if we go up to it and press, it will work as it's intended to. So we know that's working now, but let's go ahead and grab our HP textures real quick. So I made these like, I think in about 10 minutes or so. So it wasn't extremely difficult to make, but basically what I did was it's just an HP bar, and then it says 100 out of 100. And since we only have 3 lives, it goes down by 25. So after you lose 1, it will go down to 75. And if you press it again, it will go down to 50, 25, and then 0. So you're basically dead. So what we need to do is we need to actually make this display on our screen, and it will follow us. So what we need to do is we'll set up like a basic HP screen like that will follow the camera. What we need to do is go to objects, game screen / camera, first person, and then grab our head node on, and we can just put that really anywhere, it doesn't matter. And if you guys haven't seen my UI setup for a first-person, third-person camera, this is basically what we're doing. It's a really quick setup, but go to Objects, Simple Objects Box, and we can go ahead and just connect that to the head. And I have the exact measurements for the first simple box. So for the size, we have 0.80, and then y equals 0.40, and then z equals 1.80. Okay, and we're going to leave it on visible and solid just for right now, just to show you guys. And then the connection point, it's basically the opposite because it's going to be appearing on the bottom of our screen. So if we just do it like that, so y plus and y negative for the connection points. So if we go ahead and look in game, we have that box that we have under our camera, and wherever we look, that box will always follow us. But this box actually isn't necessary. It's just to connect our actual HP bar. So all we need to do is grab another object and connect it directly to this box right here, except we're going to change some things. So we want it to, basically this box needs to match our height and width for our HP textures. So I already know the exact measurements. I'm just going to do it. So 0.20, y equals 0.20, and this bottom is just 0.80. And our connection point is going to be in front of the previous box that we just put down. So that is going to be z negative and z plus. And so if we go ahead and look in game, we have this tiny little box right in front of us, and that's where our HP bar is going to go. So I can actually show that real quick. So if we go to this box, we can go ahead and make this not visible because we don't necessarily need that. And actually same with this one too, because this doesn't need to be visible either. And we can go ahead and connect our HP bar real quick and see if we connect that like that. We could see if we go in game, we have our functioning HP bar. So we can move around and it shows exactly like it should on the screen. So we can move our camera around and it goes. It only glitches when you go like into the ground like that. But I think it's fine because it just snaps back right into place. So it won't interfere with anything necessarily. But now what we want it to do is we want it to go down low and low and low when we touch our enemy. So what we need to do is there's an exact way to set this up. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this real quick. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we'll move this counter up actually right here. What we want to do is we're going to align these upright just so that we have a good workplace to work in. Let me go ahead and just align these like that. And there we go. So what we need to do is, so if we go ahead and grab constants, I'll go ahead and explain this, but we need constants, and we're going to copy that a couple times. So I'm going to copy some of these constants just like that. I think we'll need 5 of them. And basically what's happening is we need a constant for each one of these because these will be turning on at a certain point, basically. So for this first constant, we're going to go ahead and make this a 0. For the second constant, it's going to be an output of 1. Our third constant is going to be a 2. So it's going 0, 1, 2. And then for our fourth constant, it will be, of course, a 3. And then, of course, our last one will be a 4. So why I did this is because basically from our counter, it's counting up from 0 to 4 in that sense. So what we want to do is give an output when each of these go on. So what we need to do is go to middle logic, or not logic, comparison, and grab our equal sign, or our comparison node on. And I'll show you what this does. So if we go ahead and connect our counter being 0, and we connect our constant being 0 as well, this will give an output. And basically what that means is since our touch sensor is not going off because our actual character hasn't touched it, we still have full health. So we want to display that full health. So we can go ahead and connect this directly to our full HP. And see, just like that. So we have it all connected and it's displaying 100 bars right now. But if we go ahead and take 25 damage off of that, we want to display that as well. So if we go ahead and copy our comparison, and we go ahead and connect 1 to input 2, and then connect this one to here, what happens is basically when we get hurt once, it will count up 1, and since our constant is also 1 right here, it will take away 25 health right here, and that's how it will appear. And basically we need to do this process for all of them because it's going to be, you know, it's going 1 through 4. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and connect it just like I did with these two. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it's kind of a little bit tricky, but that's how it works, and that's how you get textures to appear like that. So we can connect 2 to the bottom, and then it's going to be comparing to our count up, and that will be basically 50. So that means if we touch it twice, it will display 50 because we got hurt twice. And we could do the same with this bottom one. So connect that to the bottom right there, and connect it right back up to our counter. So this is when we hit it 3 times, we'll lose 75 bars, or it will appear as 25 out of 100. And for our last one, we can go ahead and copy the comparison and match that up with that, and we could do the same and put it up with our counter right there, and connect this to our HP. So basically what's happening is, I'll go ahead and explain it the best I can, but as our thing counts up, our constants are matching up with this comparison. So if we have 0, 0, it will equal this. If we have 1 and this equals 1, then we'll have 75. And basically it will keep counting up. So depending on how many times we touch the touch sensor, it will continuously count up. So if we go ahead and look in the game, it appears that we don't have our health bar. Let me go ahead and see why. Because it does say that, oh, of course, I forgot. So right now they're not connected to anything, and they're not connected to our object, meaning that, you know, it needs to be there so it shows up on the block. So all we have to do is connect these directly to the object, which will display these textures. So we can just connect all of them to this box that's connected to our head node on. So if we go in the game now, we see that we have 100 health. But what happens is if we go up to the alien and touch it, boom, okay, see, we lose 75. And if we go up to it again, we lose 50. If we go up to it again, we lose 25. And if we go up a last time, it will basically restart itself and we'll be back at 100. But we don't want that to happen. We can actually display this one if we go to counter and we do 5. So let me go ahead and... oops, not that. And if we do 5, so 0 out of 5, and that should actually display. So if we hit it once, 25 off, 25 off, 25, and then it should display 0 now. Yeah. So what we want to happen at this is for our player to die and the level resets itself. So all we have to do actually is, since if it compares with our counter or how many times we hit with the enemy, we could directly connect a retry button to the comparison. So if we go ahead and grab output retry/end/swap, and we grab a retry game, we can go ahead and connect that just like to the result. So basically, once we get to 0, it will go ahead and restart the entire game. So we can do that one more time. So if we go up to it, 75, 50, 25, and then there, once we get to 0, it go ahead and it restarts the game and we're back at 100. And that's exactly what we wanted to do. And for the last step, we're going to make this touch sensor invisible. So turn off the visible property off of the touch sensor. And that's pretty much it for the health bar. This was definitely a little bit complicated. I tried explaining it the best I can. But that's pretty much that. So if we go in the game, we have our perfectly functioning health bar and our enemy. So if we go up to it, we'll get 25 off just like that. And if we go up to it again, 25 again. So now we're at half health. So we have only 50 left. And if we go up to it again, we're in our last stance. So we're at 25. And if we go and hit this one more time, the game will retry itself because we basically died. So hopefully that was easy to understand. I know I went kind of fast. Hopefully you guys can go back into the video because this took a lot of explanation. But if you guys enjoyed this video, I will be making episode 3 very shortly. In the next episode, I'm hoping to give our character a weapon so we can actually kill this, and I want our enemy to actually follow our character. That's what we will be doing next. Thank you again for watching, and catch you guys in another tutorial. Bye-bye.